Let's talk about the team that Newcastle beat on Sunday afternoon, which was one of Martin's former sides, Nottingham Forest. Lots to think about over the international break. They've struggled since Ange Postecoglou took over. No win in 7 games, and a section of the support has turned. Here's how he faced the questions after defeat at Newcastle on Sunday.
No, it's a lost cause. I mean, it's seriously, what's wrong with something being hard? Seriously, what's wrong with it? Why does everything have to be so... Why do we want everything just delivered, nicely packaged? I'm sure your parents had a struggle in their life, right? And they didn't give up. You may have even been a lost cause at some point, but they didn't give up on you, right? So what I'm saying is... No. But what I'm saying is, right, I'm not having a go at you, please, don't take it that way, is that, you know, it seems to be these days that as soon as something goes wrong, well, that's it, it's wrong, change it, break it up. Like... Everything that needs kind of something fixed is invariably going to go through a tough time. This is not unfamiliar territory for me, as I said. So beyond it being a lost cause, I see it as an exciting opportunity. That's why I took the role, and I still believe that now more so than ever before. But at the same time, you've got to embrace that there's going to be a fight and struggle for it.
Well, Ange Postecoglou is the one bearing the brunt of it at the moment. For you, where does the responsibility lie for the position that Nottingham Forest find themselves in?
Well, first of all, it's ridiculous to be talking about sacking a manager after 6 or 7 games. It is absolutely ridiculous. And I say this here from my own past experience. I left Norwich City only a short spell because myself and the chairman couldn't get on. What a surprise that is. And I go to Leicester City way back, quite some years ago. Couldn't win a game to save my life early on, and pressure's on, and crowd demanding that you leave the football club. So it's hard to fight back from that there. But this is, so at least it took me 10 or 11 games before I finally got a victory. But what I'm saying to you is, and this has nothing to do with being in the managers' union, but this is just nonsensical. You've got to have a chance. You've got to be. I mean, I went to the Nottingham Forest game there on Thursday night.
Were you surprised that they turned the supporters?
I was very surprised. Now, I understand there's a couple of things happening here. First of all, Nuno was very popular, but he had to gain that popularity, first of all, from a previous popular manager in Steve Cooper. So he did this year. And how did Nuno become popular? By winning football matches. He got to win football games. Now, there was at the end of the season, there was a bit of disappointment, more than a bit of disappointment, because Champions League football looked there, but they get into Europe. And so Nottingham Forest, the fans were really, really happy. So Nuno seems to have the argument with either the director of football or the owner, more importantly, the owner, and he leaves the football club. Whoever was going to go in there next would probably not, unless they'd won 12-0 in their opening game, weren't going to win the fans over. And that's just what's happened for a while. But again, I take exactly what Ange is saying there. It's nonsensical for the number of games that you're in. And you can change it. You can shift people's opinions. Of course you want to win, and the more you don't win, the more you feel as if the pressure's on you. But at least I saw him being interviewed there. It's just nice to hear him talking back. I mean, when I wasn't winning the games, I of course did the great thing. I blamed everybody else but myself, and that didn't work.
Okay, just on what you were saying there then about patience. You know the owner. How close do you think his finger might already be hovering?
No, I genuinely hope not. I genuinely hope not.
But he doesn't seem a patient man.
Well, that's probably very true. I think you only have to look at his record for the number of managers that he's had. He changes them more often than he changes his socks, I think. But that aside, I'm hoping that he would be sensible enough to see this here, that it takes a little bit of time. 2 different systems. I know you can get carried away with systems and stuff like this here, and players, really fine players at Nottingham Forest, should be delighted that they're thinking, oh, listen, would you not want the likes of Anderson and Gibbs-White and all the other players to be in possession more often? They should be able to create more things. That maybe take a little bit more time than I think. Outside that, it's a nonsense.
Which is part of the problem that they have between now and Christmas, 1 free midweek. So if you're trying to change the way that a team plays from one that was pretty pragmatic, you would argue, under Nuno, to what he wants, how do you do that in a couple of training sessions a week?
Okay. It's a good point, and also at the same time it's one that I think that playing football matches will give you a chance. You're playing Brian Clough. There was when we had a midweek. Let's say we weren't in European football or something. He invented games for us to be playing. You know, we were off changing floodlights or something like this here at Gravesend or something like this here. That's the whole point. He thought, oh, it's down to do with playing football. So the more football they play in competitive games, the better for them. And they'll be able to, they should be able to sort it out. They should be.
The other thing which is, I guess, maybe distracting, maybe isn't, that's what you can tell me, is that there are already pieces in the paper this week about Nottingham Forest sounding out someone like Marco Silva, maybe more for the end of the season when his contract up than for now.
But that doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me about the manager.
Did you read things like that? Did you get a sense as a manager that time is ticking already on me here at any club?
No, believe it or not, I must have been a complete fool, but I was actually genuinely surprised, because I went in January time. We actually, at the end of that season, we actually won our last 3 games, and I thought, I'm getting to grips with this here. And and I did 1 week of pre-season, and I'm still sitting in my office when they have announced the new manager. So, no, nothing surprised.
Is that true?
Absolutely. I was...
So you'd been told, had you, and you were clearing your desk, but they'd already confirmed?
I wasn't even clearing my desk. I was having a cup of tea with my backroom staff to tell them that they are no longer employed either. 24 minutes later, we got a call to say that they've announced the new manager. So that does not surprise me about that. And but at the end of it all, I would be, if you're saying to me, if you're going to sack a manager after 6 or 7 games, I'll get back to it. It's a nonsense.